All right. We are back. We are back at it today. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Shoot the Hoot Raw. I'm Chuck Taylor, the co-founder, chief go-getter here at CyberHoot, and yes, I'm back from a little Easter break, recharged, overly caffeinated, and slightly more tan. Hope you noticed. And today, we're diving into something that might make you just a little uncomfortable, and I'm sorry ahead of time, because today's topic is your best employee is your biggest risk. Yeah. Not the intern, not the new hire, not the person who still clicks unsubscribe on everything. It's your top performer, your go-to, your don't worry, I got you person. And before anyone gets defensive, don't get defensive. This isn't about blaming your best people. We're not doing that today. It's about understanding why attackers target them. Because when someone is fast, trusted, and empowered to act, they become the perfect target. So we're going to break down why high performers are more vulnerable than you think, how attackers exploit the speed, the trust, and the routine, and then what you can actually do to fix it without slowing your team down. Because this is not a technology problem. It's a behavior problem, and behavior can be trained. Right? Don't believe me? Ask Pavlov. Let's take a look at today's flight plan and let's get into it. Okay, first up, the 5-minute rant why your top performers are the easiest targets in cybersecurity. Simple, straightforward. Yep, we're going there. We're flipping that script on the idea that your biggest risk is your weakest user. We're showing you why your fastest, most trusted people are actually the ones who attackers love the most. Then our cyber nerd update, stability, style, and what's next. We've got fixes, improvements, and a few things that's coming you're definitely going to want to see, including some movement toward a passwordless future. I can see it. It's passwordless. It's there. It's out there, right? After that, our open mic Q&A, your best people, your biggest questions. We're tackling the real questions. How do you train high performers without slowing them down, right? I don't want to cripple my fastest person, right? And how do you build habits without annoying your team? And how do you fix this without breaking productivity? And finally, the Hoot-worthy horror story. FACC in Austria, the CEO request that cost $54 million, because nothing makes the point more clear than a real-world example, where one trusted employee, one urgent request, and zero verification turns into a $54 million mistake. Ouch. So let's get into it, because this one might change how you look at your entire team. So let's flip the script right out of the gate. All right, we're going to tell this right out of the gate. Most companies think their biggest security risk is that one person, you know, the one, we call him Carl here at CyberHoot. You know, the one, they click everything. They still think phishing involves a phishing rod, and they have a password like summer 2020, summer 2024 with an exclamation point. Meanwhile, we're in 2026. But here's the twist. Attackers don't want that person. They want your best employee, your top performer, your gets it done before lunch person, your don't worry, I'll handle it person. Because high performers, they don't hesitate. They execute fast. And attackers love that. In fact, most phishing attacks don't rely on stupidity. They rely on speed and distraction. Studies show people make riskier decisions when multitasking. And your best employees, they're juggling 12 things before coffee, right? So when an email comes in, it looks normal like, something like, hey, quick favor, or can you process this, or need this done ASAP? They don't stop and analyze it. They act, right? Because in their world, speed equals success. But in cybersecurity, speed without verification equals exposure. You guessed it. So no, it's not your weakest employee. It's your most trusted, most efficient, most reliable one. And that, my friends, is a surprising target. So here's the part most people get wrong. Smart people don't get hacked because they're dumb. They get hacked because they're busy. And attackers, they don't hack systems first. They hack human behavior. They use 4 things that work every single time. We talked about these before in other Shoot the Hoot episodes. 1, urgency. For example, hey, I need this done ASAP, because nothing shuts down critical thinking faster than a fake deadline. Number 2, authority. It's sent from the CEO. And suddenly nobody wants to be the person who replies, hey, are you actually really the CEO? Are you? Right? 3rd, familiarity. Got the same vendor, the same thread, the same tone. Your brain goes, seen this before, check, safe, right? And then there's the big one. The big one. As Stanford would say, that's the big one. It's the big one, right? Multitasking. Studies show when people multitask, error rates jump significantly. And your high performers, they're not doing one thing, they're doing 10 things. Slack ping, email, meeting, phone, another email. And right in the middle of that chaos, click, boom, bolt's already out of the gun, and bam, we're in bad shape. Because high performers are trained to respond fast, solve problems, keep things moving. That's how they work. They're like this, boom, they're moving. They don't pause, they execute, which is amazing, amazing for productivity, and exactly what attackers are actually counting on. So this isn't a people problem at all. It's a psychology problem. If you don't train for that, you're leaving your fastest people wide open, right? So let's walk through this, how this actually goes down in the real world, because this isn't some hacker in a hoodie smashing keyboards, hacker in the dark with the hoodie on, the glasses. No. This is patient. It's quiet. It's calculated. It starts with observation. This hacker doesn't break in right away. They watch. They sit quietly in the inboxes. They read conversations. They learn how your CEO writes, how your vendors invoice, when payroll runs, when people are their busiest. They're basically doing reconnaissance with a front row seat. Then they wait for the perfect moment. End of the day, Friday afternoon, right before payroll, while your CFO is traveling. Awesome times, right? And then, boom, 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 they send one email. Not a crazy one, not one of those, hey, you want $1 million, or, an email from the prince in one of those foreign countries that owes you money. Nothing like that, right? It's something simple. It's something very believable. Hey, quick favor, can you update this payment info? Or need this process before close today? Or let me know when it's done. No red flags, no alarms, just routine. And guess what? Who gets that email? Not the new hire, not the intern. Your most reliable employee does. The one who gets things done. So they don't question it. They don't slow down. They don't verify. They just handle it, right? They just handle it. And that's it. That's the breach. No malware, no ransomware screen, no blinking red warning. None of that's happening. Just trust. Used against you at exactly the right moment. That, my friends, is business email compromise. And it works because it feels normal. So, whoa, oh, sorry, that's a busy slide. Hopefully I don't throw anyone into a seizure or anything. I'm sorry about that, but moving on. So what actually fixes this? Because the answer is not, let's hire less productive people. I've heard no business owner ever say that, right? And it's definitely not, let's buy one more tool and hope for the best. That doesn't work either. The fix is actually simple. It's not easy. I always tell my kids this, hey, this is simple. It's not easy, right? So it's not easy, but simple. You train. Drum roll, the pause. I know. I've said it before and I'm saying it again. You train the pause. Because right now, your best employees are rewarded for one thing, speed. That's fast replies, fast decisions, and fast execution. But in cybersecurity, speed without verification is how money vanishes. It disappears. So we need to flip the script on that. We need to make this the new norm. So it's, hey, quick pause. I'm just going to verify this real fast. And here's the key. That should not feel like slowing things down or questioning authority or being difficult. It should feel like doing your job well. Because the most dangerous sentence in business is, I thought it looked right. So what do we actually do? What we do is we build it into the culture. You'll hear me talk about culture all the time. I love talking about culture, right? So you need to verify financial changes every time. You need to call back on sensitive requests every time. You need to simulate real world scenarios, not obvious junk. You need to reinforce it monthly, not once a year. All right, because habits don't come from policies. They come from repetition. You got to keep doing these things. The goal isn't to make your team slower. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to make what they do more intentional, right? Because a 10-second pause can prevent a $10 million mistake. So if building better habits is how we fix the human side, let's take a look at how, what we've been building inside of CyberHoot and our autopilot platform to make that a whole lot easier for you to do. This week's nerd update, yay, as I like to call it, making things work the way you thought they already did. So first up, stability, right? If you migrated from the Power platform to autopilot, you might have hit a few bumps. We went in and we smoothed all those out. Scheduling issues, fixed. Campaign timing delays, gone. And managers trying to access assignments without success, also fits. Basically, fewer, why is it doing that moments, right? Fits that. Next, permissions. And this one's important, right? Because tenant admins now have full visibility where it matters. Hoot ranks, custom Hoot attached fish campaigns, dark web results. Oh my, right? Because if you're the admin, you probably want to actually see what's going on. I think that's a fair request, right? And then a little bit of style, like our style. Tenant badges got a refresh. Same meaning, just looking a little bit sharper, right? Because even in cybersecurity, we want to look good doing it, right? Now, the fun part, what's coming next? So we're adding Google and Microsoft authentication, which means you'll be able to leverage the pass keys logged into CyberHoot. So no more password requirements, no resets, just secure, modern authentication. Exactly what we talked about earlier. So I talked about this a week or two ago. I think last week or 2 weeks ago before my vacation, we talked about pass keys, right? Now we're integrating with Google and Microsoft so you can actually leverage those pass keys right into our platform. Working great. And then on top of that, Autopilot is doing a visual refresh. Cleaner, more on brand, just a better overall experience. So yeah, a lot of behind the scenes work has been done this week. A little less flashy, but a whole lot more stable, secure, and ready for what's next. So now that the platform is running smoother than ever, let's open it up and talk about the questions you're probably already getting from your team, right? So, but first, I always do my but first here. Now throw my commercial in. Let me grab it. Let me grab it. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. All right. But first, be the first to email surprise 10 to ShootTheHoot@cyber.com and get 10% off your next invoice. Type it in, click send, and get that 10. And if you're not watching live, no worries. Email us anyway. I may just give you the 10% off. I'm a nice guy like that. The only catch is limit to one of these per month. All right. Now, on to our Q&A. Time for a little open mic Q&A. If you have some questions, throw them in there. This is where we answer questions you're getting already, right? Or the ones your clients are about to ask you after this episode. And if no one submitted anything, don't worry. I came prepared because after talking about how your best employees are your biggest risk, people tend to have feelings about that. Let's jump into a few of the big ones. All right. So let's come over to here. Questions. Wait, are you saying my top employees are the problem? No, they're not the problem, but they are the target, right? Attackers go after people who move fast, are trusted, and get things done without friction. Your best employees are your biggest asset, which is exactly why attackers focus on them. So the goal isn't to slow them down, not at all. It's to give them one superpower, the instinct to pause when it matters. All right, question 2. Won't adding verification steps just slow everything down? It will. Yeah, I mean, anytime you add a little bit of friction to anything, you're gonna do a little bit of slowdown, right? But only by about like 10 seconds. And that 10 seconds can save you from a 6-figure or 7-figure mistake, right? Think about it this way. We already accept delays for things that matter. Two-factor authentication, that's a little bit of a delay. Payment approvals, that's a delay. Contracts, that's a delay. But verification isn't friction, it's protection. And when it becomes a habit, it doesn't slow your people down. It just becomes part of how they actually do their job, right? So important, right? So this will not slow them down. This is good stuff. All right, next question. How do we train high performers without annoying them? So this is a great question that we get, right? Because this is where most programs will actually fail. You don't train high performers with boring videos, once-a-year checkboxes, or gotcha phishing tests. That's how you lose them, right? You train them with realistic scenarios, quick, relevant content, and reinforcement over time. Make it practical, make it short, make it something that can actually use the same day, right? Because high performers don't hate training. They hate wasting their time. And there's a difference between those two things. So the takeaway here is you don't need different people. You need better habits applied at the exact moment that it actually matters. So if you want to see what happens when those habits don't exist, let me show you a real world example where one trusted employee made a very, very expensive decision. Right. All right. This one hits, oops, there we go. Sorry. This one hits exactly on today's topic because this wasn't a random employee. This was a well-run company with smart people doing their jobs. In 2016, Austrian aerospace manufacturer FACC lost $54 million. not from ransomware, not from a system breach, from a single well-crafted email. Attackers impersonated the CEO. And if they didn't just send a sloppy message, they didn't do that. No, they sent a targeted, believable request to the finance team. It was framed as part of a confidential acquisition project. High priority, time sensitive, not to be discussed widely. And the employee receiving it wasn't new, wasn't careless, they were trusted. So when the CEO asks for something urgent and confidential, what do high performers do? Boom, they deliver every time. The employee initiated the transfer, then another and another, until $54 million was gone. I'm crying inside a little bit. I can't imagine it happening. I would just be like, all right, I'm going home. I'm done, right? In this scenario, there was no malware. There were no alerts, no flashing red screens or lights or warnings going off. Just authority plus urgency plus trust. And here's where it gets even tougher. Oh, it's a shame. The CEO and the CFO were both removed after the incident. Think about that. This wasn't just a financial hit. It was a leadership level fallout. And think about it, the CFO and the CEO were both let go and fired because of it. They didn't send the email. They didn't do anything besides maybe a little bit of, I'm not going to say anything. They were removed. I'm going to stop it right there. They got fired and they didn't even do anything, right? And here's the thing. Again, this wasn't a failure of intelligence. It was a failure of verification because one simple action could have stopped it. A phone call, a second check, a pause. All these things could have helped. Instead, guess what? Speed won, and the attacker walked away with $54 million. Now, listen, it was reported that the attacker was caught and most of the money was recovered. But now, wow, like just pause, please, people. Pause. If it sounds like you have to do something, give a lot of money away, or pause. You got to pause, right? And ask. So if even experienced, trusted employees can make a $50 million mistake, this isn't about awareness. It's about behavior. So let's wrap this up and lock in what actually works. So today wasn't about scaring you, but it was about clarity. Because the biggest takeaway is this. Your biggest risk isn't your weakest employee. It's your most trusted one. The one who moves fast, that gets things done, and doesn't need approval. It doesn't always have time to question what looks routine. So we saw why it happens. Urgency, authority, familiarity, multitasking, right? We saw why it happened, the urgency, authority, familiarity, and multitasking. We saw how it happens, not with malware, not with alarms, but with a simple request at exactly the right moment. And then we saw how to fix it. Not more tools, not more fear, but better habits. So normalize your verification. Train the pause, very important. Reinforce it consistently and make double checking part of doing great work because one pause can prevent a multi-million-dollar mistake. So here's your challenge this week. If it involves money, access, or urgency, verify it, right? If it feels routine, pause anyway. It's just nice to pause, take a breath. Look outside for a minute. Do a little pause. And if you actually lead a team, make it safe to question requests, right? And hey, listen, if you like what you saw today, you like the video, you like the content, give the episode a little thumbs up if you can. Share it with someone on your team or with that one coworker who always replies, done, a little bit too fast. So we'll see you next time. Same place, same time, with more ways to outsmart the bad guys. Until then, as always, laugh, learn, and hoot up. Hoot up!